Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is a fun day because today is a news day. So a lot of cool Marvel Legends were announced today at this little Pulse fan channel type thing. I don't know what these things are officially called, but yeah, I can officially go over it and talk about it with you guys because I finally got home from work, so I can talk about it. I know I am a little bit late to the game. Others have already discussed what had happened and mentioned everything. It's been covered to death, but now I finally get my opportunity to do so. So let's get into it. Starting with, oh god, I forget her name already. It's like a Black Widow variant. It's a version of Black Widow that is also kind of like the Red Guardian. Red Widow, I think is her name. I don't know anything about her. She was, I believe, teased at the last Pulse event that they held. So you got a little bit of a look of her previously. They just went over her a little bit more in depth, so we got to see what she looks like and all that stuff. Still no release date announced for that character, but still, it is exciting to see her, despite the fact that I know nothing about her. She does look pretty cool. I just don't. I've never read the comic she appears in, but she does look pretty cool. She looks like Black Widow if she was in the not the foot ninjas, the hand. I feel like there's more to that name, like hand ninjas, something like that. But beyond that, we also have, they announced they're doing a little bit of a small wave of just re-releasing figures that have previously been announced. First, we got the Iron Man Mark something, 48, 78. I feel like I remember the number 8 being in there somewhere, but I'm not sure where. But this is basically in-game Iron Man, so they said if you already have this figure, you don't need to pick it up. It's just a re-release of that figure for collectors like me who weren't collecting when that figure was released. It is a pretty cool looking figure. I don't know if I need it. I do have the Marvel Legends Iron Man that released sometime last year or within the last year. That's basically like Iron Man, like what, like 2, 3 ish around there, the hot rod, or maybe Mark 1, or I guess Mark 2 would be the technical term, because Mark 1's the more classic looking Iron Man. But I already have that one, and that one suits me well. I don't really need the in-game Iron Man, even though it does look pretty cool. And then alongside it, we have the Iron Spider, who I feel like we have like 12 dozen of these. So this one, out of all the figures they could have re-released, this one, it's a cool figure. I'm glad we have it. It's just did we need this one? But you know, for those who missed out on it somehow, if you missed out on it, it's a re-release of that figure. It looks pretty cool. Again, identical to the one that previously released. The only thing of note about these, beyond the fact that they are re-releasing these figures, is the packaging looks pretty decent. It's a combination of like, well, it's what I said they should do. We have the WWE Elites with the more, it's windowed packaging, but it's more restricted. It's like half the size of the previous packaging. The packaging looks large, but the window sizes are smaller, and I think it looks good. The packages look good, so I think if that's where they want to go with their packaging from now on, that would work too. I've been trying to figure out where they should go with this packaging style. I know a lot of people have been trying to break this down, but you know, I think if that's where they go, I'd be happy with it. I do like it a little bit more than the current windowed packaging. But next up, we do have a comic version of Falcon, Captain America Falcon, to be more specific. This is, I guess they mentioned this is a figure that's already been released, but this is an updated version with the wings, and the wings do look pretty spectacular. The way they kind of fold and bend and articulate, they look pretty good. I would love to have this figure. I do have the MCU Falcon, but comic book Falcon would not be that bad. You know, I think I'd love to have that in the collection if I can get my hands on him. Next up is the Hydra Captain America from the Hail Hydra event. event that turned Captain America into a Nazi, and people were so mad they couldn't wait for the storyline to finish up, even though I think it was a pretty cool storyline. But we have a figure of that Captain America, which is kind of cool, a little weird, but kind of cool. It looks fairly decent. Look, I like the texture on the chest, and looks like a decent looking Captain America, I think, all around. So I'm happy about that there. Then beyond that, I think, let's see, we have, they went on to the X-Men 97 Wave 2. Alongside this Wave 2, they kind of teased a Wave 3, which I think would be very appropriate because there's so many characters that we all need as figures that I don't think they can really capture all these figures in just 2 waves. But the next one they announced, or the first figure of the next wave, is, of course, this Nightcrawler, who looks absolutely wonderful. I love the look of him. I need a Nightcrawler. I've been needing a Nightcrawler for a long time. And it's not a character that really gets a lot of releases, so I'm super ecstatic about getting another Nightcrawler, because, like I said, I need one in my collection. The last X-Men character I was desperate to get my hands on was Gambit, and now I have Gambit, and he looks great, so it makes sense to add to the collection with this Nightcrawler. Next is a guy named Executioner, who I don't know anything about. He does have a pretty cool look, but beyond that, I have no idea who this is. He's big and he's bulky. I think he might be a TV show like exclusive character, like a character made for the show. He looks so unique. I don't know. Maybe he showed up in the comics before, and this is an adaptation of him. I've never heard of him. The name sounds familiar. But the character just looks totally unique. I've never seen anything like him, but he looks pretty cool. I'm excited for him. It's just a figure I don't know anything about. Then we have another version of Magneto, a different version of Magneto. So if you have the previous version of Magneto, it's not like you're wasting money by getting 2 of the same figure. This is basically a whole new figure. This is Magneto in the black outfit with the purple cape. Totally different head sculpt, totally different body. Essentially a new character, just an alternate version of Magneto. Looking pretty cool, pretty sweet. I'm digging him. He looks awesome. I need to get him. I need to get both versions, honestly. We have the wonderful looking Jean Grey. I love the look of 90s animated series Jean Grey. I think she looks really cool. I love the attire. The nice blues and yellows and reds. Everything looks super cool. It's not my favorite. I think X-Men Evolution still is my favorite, but for some reason that show does not get as much love as X-Men 97. For some reason, even though that literally was like the blueprint for everything that like MCU, the X-Men comics, everything across the board, X-Men Evolution was essentially the blueprint for that. If I don't say so myself. After that, we have Jean Grey's lover, Cyclops, who looks absolutely stunning. This is an awesome looking figure. I have a Cyclops. I think I have 2 Cyclopses. I have Age of Apocalypse Cyclops, and then I have Astonishing X-Men Cyclops. I love both of them, but I do need this classic looking, regular old X-Men Scott Summers Cyclops with the hair and the sky or I-beam and all that. Looking good. I really need to have this figure in my collection. Then we have Goblin Queen, who I don't know much about Goblin Queen. I believe I read that she's just like an alternate, like Jean Grey. This is basically like an evil version of Jean Grey, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about this character. She does come with a baby. They teased maybe that's something we'll learn more about in the show, because even they don't know what the baby has to do with her. I guess we'll find out. And that was pretty much the entire wave of X-Men 97, the new second wave. The packaging is a little different on these boxes. I think the by the X-Men side, it's black instead of, I believe it was blue. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but the packaging looks a little bit different. For some reason, it's the same characters from the first wave. They didn't just redo it with the new characters. But this wave looks just as good as the first. And the first, if you know anything about the first, I don't know, some of those figures might make my top 10 list. when I get around to making that list. If you haven't gotten your hands on those figures, you might need to, because they are truly wonderful. After that, they teased next year is the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. I almost said 40th, but it is the 50th anniversary, which is super exciting. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters, so I'm super excited to get a lot of Wolverine action figures in my collection. I do have quite a few, but I could always use more. That's just how it goes when with Spider-Man, with Wolverine, Deadpool. You just gotta have all the versions you can get. And we got quite a few different versions of Wolverine here. A lot of 2-packs, which is cool. I'd like to see more single releases or like just a whole wave of Wolverine. But the 2-packs are pretty cool. We have this, what did they call him? They called him, oh gosh, it's a version of Wolverine I've never heard of before. I gotta check out this comic line, because this Wolverine looks absolutely insane. And he does come with Lilandra, who looks pretty cool. I saw some people upset about the way she looks on Reddit, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know anything about Lilandra, so, I don't really care if she doesn't look accurate, because I don't know anything about her, but Wolverine looks absolutely insane. I believe they said this is a fan channel exclusive, or like just a Hasbro exclusive, so you can only get it from Hasbro when they release it, and then it's gone forever, which I hate when they do that. But this is a 2-pack of those two characters, and they both look really cool. I don't know if I care as much about Lilandra, like I said, but that Wolverine's so wild looking. It's just, I gotta check it out. Even his jaw is like posable, and it comes with this really, really, really cool packaging. They said they did something. They had artists come in to help draw for the packaging, and some of those the art was so good. They're actually going to be variants for some comics releasing, which is super exciting, I guess. Those are, if you're a comic fan, gotta check those out. But like I said, I don't know. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to get my hands on, so I might pass on this one. But that Wolverine is pretty exciting for me. Then next up is, I think, the one that got me most excited. This one looks absolutely wonderful. This one looks super insane. It is Sabretooth and Classic Cowboy Wolverine. That Sabretooth is I hate to pun on you guys, but that Sabretooth is astonishing. He looks so freaking cool, and that Wolverine looks cool as well. I do have the Old Man Logan Wolverine, which is kind of the same vein as this Wolverine, but man, that Cowboy Wolverine with the articulation in the torso, the head sculpt, the arms, he comes with a set of playing cards, which is interesting for him. I think it works, but it's interesting. They're also facing away from him, like when he holds them, he's like showing him to everybody. I'd rather he's like looking at him, like you maybe build a diorama of all these characters playing poker. You get like a Gambit in there, get a Wolverine in there, and they're all just playing poker. But he's like showing his cards away, so you can't really pull that off. Maybe there's a way you can like turn them around, or maybe you could pull them off. I don't know. They don't really go into that too deeply, but it looks super amazing. They have the thick claws too, which is good for, like, you don't want your claws to bend. Again, with the amazing, oh yeah, the cards do come off, so you can set the cards however you want. So that's super cool. But yeah, the thick claws, they don't bend as much, which is super useful. But that Sabretooth, God, everything about this 2-pack I really want. This one is on the fan channel and on Amazon, so this one's going to be a little bit more accessible, a little bit more findable. This Wolverine also reminds me, I meant to mention before, I forgot to. It also looks pretty much identical to the Wolverine that came with the bike. I think that the articulation's different, like the torso is different, but they're very similar looking characters, so if you already have that, you might not need this one, but I digress. The next 2-pack is one that's a little less exciting for me. It's a version of Wolverine I don't have too much of a relation towards, and a version of Psylocke I don't have too much of a, like, I don't know this storyline at all. She looks cool. She looks really cool, but when I think of Psylocke, this is not really it. Same with Wolverine. I do recognize this costume. I've seen, it's obviously an iconic costume. It almost looks like this would make a really cool, like a base for an Ultimate Wolverine, because it's like right there. It's just missing some yellow to make an Ultimate Wolverine. And the head sculpt also kind of really works for Ultimate Wolverine. But these two characters are just not characters, like, when I think of these two, I don't think of these two specifically. So another one of those 2-packs I'll try and get if I can, but honestly, if I miss out on it, big whoop. The next one is a really, really cool 2-pack. It is Patch and Joe Fixit in their white suits. Very iconic look for the two characters. Wolverine with the eye patch, of course, and then Joe Fixit. If you've been a fan of comic books, you know that classic look of these two characters. So it's going to be pretty exciting to get my hands on these two figures if I can. Like I said, it might be a little difficult to pull off, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do everything I can to get my hands on these two figurinos. But yeah, they look pretty cool. So I'm super happy with that. Especially the head sculpt. If I can get my hands on that head sculpt, I'm speaking too fast. Then I would be just a very happy boy. The only thing I'm a little disappointed by with these announcements is I was really, when I heard they were doing something with the 50th anniversary with Wolverine, I was expecting maybe a little bit more along the lines of his classic villains that we don't really get to see a lot. Like there's that guy Nuke, I think is his name, where he has the USA flag on his face. There's that guy with the metal arms, and he has like a blue costume. That guy would be cool. Like, there's so many characters I remember reading as a child that we don't really see as figures, and they would be really easy figures. Honestly, they're just big guys with classic wild looks to them, and they just haven't gotten figures. And this being the 50th anniversary of Wolverine, I was hoping maybe we'd get our hands on some of these more outlandish type characters that we haven't seen that relate to Wolverine specifically. So unfortunately, nothing there. I do think we'll see something down the line, something to do with Wolverine later on. They're not going to give everything away immediately, so, you know. Then they went over their, like, ranking list, which was kind of fun to watch. I do like these guys, so it's fun to just watch them goof around. They don't, to be honest, they don't really seem all that comfortable on camera, so they seem very, like, shy and timid when they're doing these things, which is the only complaint I really have about these guys. Also, a lot of the shots, to be perfectly fair, a lot of the shots were out of focus, which kind of ruined the point of the show. The point is the figures, and it's focusing on the guys behind them for some reason. Pretty much every shot was like that. Not to diss these guys, I do love all three of these men. They bring us the joy and entertainment we so desperately seek. And then before they went away, they gave us one or two more little teases. We got a beautiful looking, like almost deluxe style angel with the beautiful huge wings. They really expand out and they look amazing. Very classic looking angel, and it looks so huge. This is going to be one of those, like, oh god, where am I going to put this guy? The wings do, of course, fold down, so he's going to be, you know, relatively normal size. He's going to be freaking wide, but he's going to be relatively you know, presentable, I guess. He'll go on your display. You won't have to do too much to make him fit. So, but his wings do come out if you really want him to be that full-on angel flying around solving crimes. You know, the classic angel. Very cool looking action figure right there. And then I think this is where they left us off on just a tease. I was seeing on Reddit, some people were theorizing that this tease could be, oh god, what's her name? It's not Hope Summers, but Rachel Summers? Rachel Gray. I had to look her up because, like I said, when it comes to the 90s, I started reading comics in 2010, and my only access to comics was the library. So, and they only went back to like 2000, and that was only Wolverine. Like Wolverine, Fantastic Four, Avengers, X-Men. I read. Well, really, the only comic they had was Second Coming, and that's where I was introduced to Hope Summers. So when I heard Rachel Gray, I was like, "Is that like another one of their daughters? Is that Hope, but just with a different name?" And I had to look her up. Basically, she's, I think, not the daughter of Jean Grey. I didn't read the full wiki, but she, after Jean Grey died, she took on the Phoenix Force essentially, and she became the Phoenix, which sounds cool. I guess we've had lots of Phoenixes, so it's really at this point it's like, oh, another Phoenix, cool. A lot of people were hoping that this would be an action figure for her. It is just a little flame, of course, so there's not much to go off of. This was a big X-Men day, but I don't necessarily think that this tease has to be X-Men related. I don't know the words they said. Like I said, I haven't been able to watch the actual event because I was at work, so I'm just going off of the recap that I saw everywhere else. So I don't know if they specifically teased this is X-Men related. They might have, but I don't think, if unless they specifically said that this is X-Men related, I don't know if we have to assume that this tease right here is X-Men related. It could potentially be, I don't know, Fantastic Four. It could be, I mean, there's so many fire guys. It could be literally anything. Obviously, they would choose the fire effect to tease somebody fire related. It can't just be like Apocalypse and he's walking through the flames, you know? That would be kind of cool. I think that would look really cool, display wise, diorama wise. But I think specifically they're teasing somebody associated with fire. So I'm thinking, yeah, it could have been that other gray girl. I've already figured out her name. It could be Hope Summers. She was also a Phoenix Force character. It could be Scott Summers. He took on the Phoenix Force recently, not too long ago, during the Secret Wars, which is becoming a major thing relatively soon. So they might be wanting to pump out some figures next year, the next 2 years, potentially. Scott Summers could be that character. It could be regular old Jean Grey, or it could just be Fantastic Four. We're getting that movie. Did they delay it? They delayed so many movies. I don't know if that one's actually coming next year or if it got delayed till 2025. I think I remember seeing that the only thing that survived 2024 is Deadpool 3. As far as Marvel goes, I think we have Echo on Disney Plus. Is that it? Oh god, they gotta get to filming. Get to filming something. We need like She-Hulk season 2, Ms. Marvel season 2. Those were like among my two favorites. The rest, I think I could live without. WandaVision obviously being one of the good ones. Loki being one of the good ones. They're all good. They're just, some of them aren't incredible. And I think people's expectations of Marvel have been maybe a little too high. Like, it's never been like amazing. It's always been like, yeah, that was pretty good. And now all of a sudden, yeah, that's pretty good is like not good enough for people anymore. I don't really get it, but I don't know why I'm going on this. Because next year they got to start teasing what's coming next movie wise, and all the action figures always have to be kind of related to what's releasing movie wise. Even if it's not an MCU figure, it's an MCU adjacent world. Everything's just adjacent to the MCU. So they gotta sell this via this. I guess they don't really do that too much. I mean, sometimes, like, we've had lots of Spider-Man, and there's always Spider-Man waves. We've had lots of, like, we just got Moon Knight. I guess that relates to this show. I don't know. I'm on too long of a tangent, but thank you guys so much for watching. That was pretty much all they talked about. It was a very cool show. Lots of cool stuff got announced. The annoying thing is I've been planning on doing a what the future of Marvel Legends looks like video, because I found like a website that's going over like rumored and suspected potential Marvel Legends releases coming soon. And so far, I think like 5 of those or 5 of those teased items, waves included, not just singular releases, have already been announced. Like we had the X-Men 97, we had Wolverine's 50th anniversary. Whatever they revealed last time, that was another thing that was highly teased. A lot of these things, like, if I had done the video on it, I would have been on top of this stuff, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that. I've been busy working. It's the holiday season, so I haven't had too much time to work on videos. But if I had done that, I would have been on it. And this was another example of, if I had done that, the Wolverine's 50th anniversary was one of those things. It's like, that could be coming. If I talked about it sooner, you guys would have, like, gave me $1 million, I bet, because you guys love me so much. But yes, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the most rambly, stupid video I've ever made, but I appreciate you guys for being here. So if you are still here, please leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. All the things YouTubers ask you to do, just do it for me as well. And I will be back with another video, hopefully very, very soon. Bye.